Quizzes are powerful, and archetypes are even more powerful because people love them and they give us really important information, especially when it comes to content. Let me explain. So, how many times have you stumbled across a BuzzFeed quiz or a personality typing quiz and really just needed to know the answer, needed to know what type of cheese you are, or which Harry Potter house you belong to, or what your Myers-Briggs is? We are designed to want answers, and quizzes are a really great way to come up with these answers. We also really like being able to put a frame around tendencies, voice, personality traits, things like that. And because of that, it makes quizzes and archetype work really, really powerful. So this is something that dates back to the beginning of time, right? You look at old mythology and you look at old stories, you look at old morality tales, and there are archetypes abound. Using a modern example, Star Wars, you see the hero's journey in Star Wars. You see Luke Skywalker, who's going on this quest to fight evil, and each character fills a different role. You have a mentor, you have the hero, you have the villain, and each person in their role serves a different purpose. Archetypes work to simplify complex ideas. And this is something that you can apply in your business. And this is something that we at North Star have been applying to copywriting and content creation for years. This is because one of the things that is the most difficult to outsource, one of the things that everyone struggles to outsource, including ourselves, is voice. We all have our own unique voice. We have our own unique way of approaching our work and talking about our work. And we can write it and we can speak in it, but we can't really trust other people to speak in it without really letting go of a lot of control. And that's hard. It's especially hard if there's not a framework. And we realized early on that there was a way to capture someone's voice and strategically provide guidelines for writing in your voice so that you could take your content and have your team start to create it from scratch while sounding exactly like you. And it all starts with the copywriting character quiz. This is the starting point of the process. We've been using it for years, and we use it with every single one of our clients because it provides a baseline for your unique voice. So where did the copywriting character quiz come from? A lot of places. It came from Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, that Star Wars idea of everybody playing in a certain role. It came from these age-old mythologies where you have different people who are providing different pieces of advice in different ways. It came from this great book called The Hero and the Outlaw, which is about using archetypes to build extraordinary brands. All of these different resources came together to create the copywriting character quiz. And what the copywriting character quiz does is it takes your voice and distills it down to one of 5 archetypes. Usually when you're working with archetypes, you have more than 5, but this is a simplified version because it's a baseline. It's not the end goal of your entire voice mapped out. This is the starting point. And so we wanted it to be really simple so that you could get started. So there are 5 different archetypes represented through the copywriting character quiz. There's the rebel, there's the artist, the nurturer, the scholar, and the architect. And we'll go into each one of these in more detail in future videos. But what you need to know right now is that whichever one you are, primarily, that is just a starting point for your voice. So let's say that you take the quiz and you come up as the rebel. The rebel is very bold and really likes to challenge the status quo. That may not be your only aspect, the only aspect to your voice, your only copywriting character. Maybe you also have some nurture elements, but it's your primary. It's what you lead with, and it's a starting point. And if you know your starting point, you can start to build resources for your team. You can let your team know, hey, I tend to lean towards a rebel voice, especially in these situations. So when you're creating content for me, make sure you're tapping into that. And you can create a word bank with words that tap into the rebel voice. And you can list the different situations where your rebel voice really is on. And that allows your team to take responsibility for not just your content, but sounding like you in the content. which eventually allows you to step out of the content creation and have more time for other things within your business. So the copywriting character has evolved a ton over time. When it was originally created, it was so that you could start writing more confidently in your own voice. Now we use it to help you outsource your voice. So yes, it still helps you really identify your voice, but it also helps you outsource your voice and get it to your team so that they can really take control of your content and you can get back into the CEO role. So the questions themselves haven't changed much, but the application has. So we want to encourage you, if you have not taken this quiz, to go through. It's only about a dozen questions long, and it's going to give you that baseline, that starting point for really identifying and outsourcing your voice so that your content can get out to the world, so that you can have a bigger impact, and so that you're not sacrificing authenticity.